4 customers already paid for 4 lifetime access plan before even I started coding the app.
That is very scrappy, and it's something that most people wouldn't think of doing. Meet Chay. He's successfully taken viral tweets and made thousands of dollars turning them into apps. And today, he's teaching others how to do the same.
Build this FitSaver, not even writing a single line of code. ChatGPT, what are the top 5 workout organizer apps? FitSaver is one among them.
Did that really convert into revenue?
Users are literally asking, hey, get that and build your own. You will get users.
Now that you've gotten banned on Reddit, like what is the next stage for you to grow this app? Here's his career playbook. Thanks for joining us on Career Playbook. We have seen your YouTube videos. It's really caught some traction in the last few days. And you have an incredible story about how you turned someone's tweet into an app and made a decent amount of money. So could you tell us a little bit more about what you built with FitSaver?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kenneth. I used to work for a healthcare company in New York, completely working remotely from India. And back in December, I thought, let's build out some app or a product on the side, like a side hustle. And a guy on X posted a tweet basically on an idea about how can we have kind of a workout organizer for importing the workouts from social media, because you get to see a lot of short videos, workout videos in Instagram, TikTok, but there's no way to save them, organize them. If you save like 100 reels, 200 reels, it's basically lost. So I thought, this is a great idea to, implement. I started building this app in December, and I took a month to build this app completely, using AI code tools. And I also have a background in CS, computer science. So that helped me in, coding the app as well. So in a month, I built the MVP around 25 days. After that, I started posting on Reddit, and I heard very good reviews initially. And that's how the app idea began of FitSaver.
Awesome. I know you mentioned some numbers online. Could you tell us a little bit more about how much you've made today and like how you even started monetizing things?
Sure, why not? So I launched it on January 4th on just the App Store. By the time it was not even launched on Android. And so far it's been a journey of 5 months, and I've made around 3,000 USD so far in revenue. And to talk about MRR, it's $300.
Incredible. Like you spent only a few months and you turned it into real revenue and profit right out of the gate pretty much. But yeah, would love to dig into how you even got building this thing. I think I saw something online where you said you started monetizing or even getting your customers before the app was fully built,
Definitely.
Right? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Before this app, I built another app which failed terribly because I didn't get any downloads. I got downloads few, but there were no paid customers for the app. And that's a lesson. A lot of people, invest time building the app, and then they fail because they don't know how to market it. They don't know the distribution channel, how to reach people. And they already spent 3 months of time, and also they have spent some money, and it's a waste of time because even if you build, I feel even if you build a great product and nobody sees it, what's the point? Right? So you need to figure out the distribution channel. You need to figure out what users want. You need to build a wait list right before, building the app itself. So I have a experience in video editing, motion graphics. So that led me creating a very good video about how the app looks like. The product was not even built. Then in 2 days, I came up with like a video mockup, not an MVP, but video mockup, how the MVP looks like. And I started sharing on Reddit channels. So the communities I used are some of them like iOS apps, workout community subreddits, and there is something related to health fitness subreddits. But Reddit is tricky. If you go there and say, hey, I built this app, download it, nobody does it. And Reddit is against marketing. So you need to provide the value first. So indirectly, I provide the value that, okay, how do you save workouts? How are they, tracking their workouts? These are the questions I started relating and I started creating. So in that week, I started getting traction about the post. People were replying to my post that, hey, I use this technique. I use this trick to save my workouts. And that's where I saw a potential where I can plug in my video into the comments. And that's how few people started looking at the video and say, hey, this app idea is actually good. I would be using it. And then I suddenly, got an idea of creating a landing page and a wait list. And then I replied to the same comment saying, hey, I built a landing page and a wait list. If you are interested in this app idea, it would be great if you can sign up so that I can send you the app link when the app is built. And that's how I got 60 users on waitlist before the app was even built. And few of the customers, like 4 customers, if I'm not wrong, already paid for 4 lifetime access plan, $29 each, before even I started coding the app.
Wow, that is very scrappy, and I feel like it's something that most people wouldn't think of doing.
If it is direct, like if you say, hey, I'm working on this, a link, I think it'll be downvoted or removed from the subreddit. So I think it was the same account, and it was all well. Though that account is now banned because because of the repeated posts.
So now that you've gotten banned on Reddit, like what is the next stage for you to grow this app? Like, is it just create more accounts, continue to scale, or like how do you think about taking that next step?
So now what I'm doing is I'm not posting links anymore. I'm just providing the value that, hey, these are the tips that you need to, follow while doing the workouts. How can you import these workouts and all those things? That is happening with another new account, but we can't rely on that as a marketing channel right now because it takes time to build karmas, the points in Reddit, and also you should have followers and you should have some good engagement with these Reddits. So I'm building that right now, but now the main channel is to distribute this app in building the Google SEO. Because of all these Reddit posts have been built up so far in my previous account, the posts are not removed yet. So that is been linked to Google SEO. So a lot of users are coming from Google search. So if you go on Google and search good workout organizer app, FitSaver is going to come probably in rank 1 because of all these Reddit posts and ChatGPT, right? So if you go and ask ChatGPT, what are the good top 5 workout organizer apps, FitSaver is one among them. So that is one of the channel. I'm not doing any marketing, no distribution. I'm getting trials signed up every day. They try to use the app. They like the app eventually, and after the 7th day, they're paying for the app. So on auto mode, I'm also figuring it out, like how can I market this app via UGC, TikTok, or Instagram.
I'm curious, like, do you have any specific goals where you're trying to take this? Like, what are your expectations for FitSaver?
Definitely, my goal is to get this app to 10K MRR USD. And also I'm getting a lot of user feedback requests. So my belief is if you focus on what users want, I check feature requests every day. What are the user requests that people are asking about? What is the next feedback that I'm getting? What are the features that they're looking forward for? Okay, hey, can we do this better?
Okay. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of ambitious goals for FitSaver specifically. I'm curious as to like how you're kind of splitting your time right now because it's a lot for one person to handle. Of course, it's probably easier today than it was like 5 years ago with all these AI tools. But I'm curious about like how you manage your time, how you prioritize, especially because I know you're also kind of leading into content creation lately, which seems somewhat separate to FitSaver, if I'm understanding correctly.
So I think you made a very good point that 5 years down the line, it was very difficult times to build because you need a team. One for developing the app, one for marketing, one for managing the things. But with AI, it's been streamlined everything. You can with just having all the AI tools, you can literally hire a senior software engineer by paying a pro account for, Cloud Code or Cursor. I built this FitSaver not even writing a single line of code. It's all wipe coded app just by using Cursor. Yes, I have a background of CS that would have helped me getting this idea ideated and also make it live faster. But I think it's not a mandatory thing that you need to have a CS degree or you need to have this kind of a skill. If you know how to have a good prompt basics in like how to prompt, how to talk to AI, and you have a good computer literacy, I think anybody can build a good app. I have a motion graphic, video editing skills, designing websites. So it's all button of a click kind of a thing now. Just go there in Framer or Webflow. You can create basically literally the landing page in five minutes. So it's all become easy, and you don't need a lot of people to come up with great ideas, implementing great ideas. It's good to have a co-founder or any people in the team, but it's not a requirement that if anybody is thinking about building an app or have an idea. So I would say it doesn't go wrong if you invest money in these AI tools. I've invested a lot of money, like $20 in Cursor, maybe $100 in something else, but it is actually making my life easier to manage all these things. And also, FitSaver is one of the part. I'm also doing, as I said, content creation. I'm also working on another app now. And also I have another app already live, which is related to movie tracking. So it's all done by AI, most of them. So yeah, that's how I'm managing things right now.
Well, I know one thing that a lot of our audience often struggles with is I might be interested enough to start a project, but then I don't know where to take it or if it's working or it's not working. Like for you, it sounds like you've kind of done a lot of different projects. So how did you guys know when is the right time to pivot, to pause an idea versus invest more?
Yeah, one important thing is right now, as we see, because of AI, everybody can build anything in minutes. So the competition is high. If you see App Store, Play Store, and if I'm not wrong, millions of apps are out there. So one thing you need to understand in app building is that if you want to succeed, fortunately or unfortunately, any app success is metered or linked to how much money it's making, right? So you need to validate the idea. I would say don't jump into building the app once you get an idea. Hey, it's a genius idea, let's build it. That's a wrong approach. That's the mistake even I did in my experience of building the first app. I did not care about whether the people are interested in this app. I just went into coding in Cursor and I published it. Nobody cared, nobody downloaded, nobody paid for that app. So you need to validate the idea right before even writing a single line of code, right? So how do you validate this idea? So you need to go to Reddit, you need to go to LinkedIn, use all the social channels that you have. You can also use your friends group on WhatsApp. You say like, hey, I have this idea. And if you have a very good skill in video, or if you know how to build website, even that is good. Go and create a website and see, okay, you just put it out there. Hey, I have this idea. This is what this app does. Are you interested? And just keep a waitlist link, like just integrate a waitlist. There are a lot of free waitlist products that you can use where you can, if people signs up, you get an email, then you use that waitlist email list to broadcast any kind of, engage them in the idea, ask them what kind of features you need. So I would do that first. Rather than worrying about building the app. That's the second stage. The first stage is always, I would say, if you want to go in the right direction, whether you are building a good app which makes money, I think if you can sell at least one lifetime plan before the app is even built, then that's a good real validation that this app is going to work.
Got it. Well, I know one thing that I saw, I was able to dig up your old Reddit page and found that you had a previous app on a Reddit post that went viral around, I think it was like giving you a fake phone call for you to get out of certain situations. I saw that actually got a pretty decent amount of traction on Reddit. Did that really convert into revenue of some sort? Or how do you determine when something is getting traction versus it actually being monetizable?
So that gave me confidence that post is everything. Though it did fail because I got few downloads, but nobody paid for it because it was an in-app purchase where you get to buy credits. Like if you want to have a 30-minute credits in the app, like a talk time, you can buy it. Maybe they're thinking about escaping a social situation maybe twice in a year. Right, they're not using it this app every day. So that's where I think the app went wrong. But the thing is, even in Reddit, right? So you need to know what subreddit you need to post, right? So if you post on side projects, if you post on SaaS, these are the subreddits where all the other founders like you as well are hanging out. They're not the right audience, but they're the right audience for validating or asking questions about the failures, the success, the tips and tricks for starting a company. But figuring out the right subreddit also is very important in your app ideas.
Got it. Well, it sounds like I'm taking away two main things as like number one, do validation in the right markets. It's not about making sure that anybody wants your product, but like the right sets of people want your product. And number two, it sounds like you wanted to narrow your focus towards business ideas that have a more repeatable use case or more common recurring pain point. Because like the phone call app, you said doesn't happen that often versus a workout, which is what people are doing multiple times a week, which is I think really smart to kind of narrow your focus on like what areas you want to invest in, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would say look out your own problems. Like what is your personal problems in your daily life? What are the pain points? What are the frustrations? So I would look that first as an app builder. If I don't get any idea, then I go look at Reddit post. If somebody is asking for any, hey, is there any app exist? Look for it, scout on those ideas. You will definitely get a lot of ideas. There are tons and tons of ideas that you can implement every day.
Awesome. Well, I guess one thing that I know makes a lot of people hesitant to make the jump to do everything on their own is like the financial aspect. Was there like a certain amount of like cushion or planning that you needed to do? Or did you give yourself some sort of timeline like, hey, I need to make this much in this amount of time?
Sure, definitely. I think you need some backing if you're starting as a one-person company, because you don't have a good funding or investment to start on these ideas, right? So definitely money matters, because these AI tools, whatever, like you're hiring them like the access, right? So you basically need some amount of money, but not like huge money. But if you know stuff, if you know how to figure out stuff, you can find all the AI tools for everything. Like for website, you have a tool. For basically coding your app, you have a tool. For managing users, for managing all the analytics part of your company, there are tools. But only thing is, how are you managing? Do you have enough finance? So figure that out. Even if you are quitting job, I would not recommend that. See if you have a good backing first, and then you can make a decision. Or if you are in the job, or you're doing any job, make sure that you create some side projects, right? So you can work on weekends. You can stretch some of your work, the free time, and invest in this building. Because even when I started FitSaver, I was working with the company, so the same company, but I did this in the weekends. I built FitSaver in the weekends. So you need to figure out how you can manage time, and though you're not quitting the job and working, the free time on this side project, and see if you can start making revenue on it. Once it makes revenue, then you can decide on, based on your backing, the funding that you have, you can plan out whether I can quit my job or not quit my job, and yet work on the side project while I'm keeping my full-time job. So you need to be very smart in managing things, rather than blindly jumping into quitting the job and working on. Most of the cases, it will fail.
Well, I love the idea of just like starting while you have a full-time job, so you're not fully stressing about, hey, is this app going to make any money? And once it starts making money, then you can kind of start to plan your transition. I know there are a lot of people that anytime gurus or people talk about how easy it is to make money online or start a business, a lot of people will critique and say, hey, this thing's already been done. It's too competitive. What are your thoughts about that?
Definitely, this is a very good question, Kenneth. Thanks for bringing this out. I think most of the people go wrong in this, right? Pick up a problem which is already built. See the proof, right? If you go to App Store, if you go to Play Store, let's say you want a screen recording software. Search as a screen recording software. You have tons of apps already built. Go there and check the reviews, right? Filter the negative or bad reviews of that app. You see, you get ton of ideas there. Users are literally asking, hey, this feature is missing in this app. Get that and build your own app or the same niche with that feature implemented. You will get users. So I would say in 2026, building the app which nobody uses it is a waste of time, right? Think about my first app, right? So I have a viral post created on Reddit, but yet I did not get any user because it's a unique idea. So you need time to educate users in unique ideas like this, or you need backing like millions of dollars in getting like being a next Google or being a next Facebook, because these are all unique ideas. Don't concentrate on that. Don't focus on that. As a solo founder, check for already proven apps. Go to sensortower.com, go to trustimr.com. You see tons of repeated apps making $10,000 a monthly, 20K MRR, 30K MRR. There are repeated apps. There are apps like that, like 50 apps like that, but still they are making money, right? Because they are doing some other feature. They are doing one specific feature very well that users liked it. So you can also go there, and you can also clone or repeat whatever the apps existing in the market, but do it well. Pick up a feature which users are hating about that product which is already existing, make it better, implement it in a very good seamless with a seamless user experience. Trust me, you will get users. So even FitSaver, right? So there are a ton of apps which is making workout organizing good. There is Resimi, right? Example, there is a Resimi which imports workouts from Instagram. It's the same idea, but it's a different niche. So think about the ideas where there is a already proven app which is already capturing the market.
Well, I think this is super inspiring. I feel energized to go try and build things on my own personally. But I guess just to kind of round us off, where can people find you online, whether it's YouTube, X, like where can people connect with you?
Sure. You can find me on YouTube. It's called I Am Chay. Can basically, I'll give you, Kenneth, all the links about the YouTube channel I've created. And they can also find me on X.